You know what I like?
What's that?
I like it when young people tell me that they're like, "Oh, I'm so old. I'm feeling so old," and I'm like, "Bro, you're 40."
Why are you doing that?
It's funny to me.
Why
like,
are you
I hear
doing
these
this?
30-year-olds like, "I'm so old." I'm like, "Bro, you're 30. Like, what are you talking about?"
I share one thing with you.
What happened?
I share one thing with you.
Did you do this?
Just a minute ago.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Yeah. You were telling me how old you are. Tell me again. How old are you? You're 40, right?
All I said was, I need to finally start listening and wear glasses because the screen is starting to blur.
I can't wait for you to wear thick old man glasses. That's what I want. I want like pop bottle, like thick glasses. This is going to be great.
No, it's starting to blur. And I was supposed to, my optometrist friend of ours, she yells at me all the time because Michelle's like, he's not wearing his glasses.
So you do have glasses.
Yeah.
Listen, I did the same thing for as long as I got glasses when we were in seminary, and I was shocked that, like, holy smokes, I haven't been able to see stuff. I mean, I could read, but I was getting some headaches, and it was a big shock. But I didn't really keep up with it. I let them drop, and then things got way worse. You're in the way worse now.
Yep.
I didn't wait till 40.
Yeah, I waited.
Oh, man. You're going to have like one of those walking sticks.
No, it's not that bad.
A golf ball on the end of it.
You're fine. Everything's fine. What? What happened?
No, I'm just thinking like you're definitely going to get a placard now.
Why?
Because you're already deaf in one ear, and now you're half deaf. You're going to be half blind. You get a placard. You can park anywhere.
Oh, I'm not half blind, but
you probably are. You don't know. He's literally trying to see the screen.
To see, I'm like, is it just one eye or is it?
Maybe you might have had a stroke. Maybe that's what it is. One side you can't hear, can't see.
Hold on. Let me try. Yeah, it's this eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one's better.
You'll do contacts probably, right?
No, I don't like touching my eye.
I don't either. I can't do it.
I don't know.
I'd rather just hate wearing glasses all the time.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to do.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No, you're getting
that was just between us.
Yeah. Oh, was that private?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say. You got to qualify.
Oh, I got to qualify everything with you?
Listen, who are you talking to?
Fair enough.
I like to share.
Fair enough.
Okay. You know, my best friend told me sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
It's definitely one eye.
So, okay. See, I have astigmatism, and which makes things hard to read. And then my eyesight is going on top of it. So I have to have these like trifocals or something.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't like it. It's annoying.
Well, anyways, thanks for sharing that for me.
You know, that's what I like to. I'll get a little piece of advice. Give you a little advice.
Go ahead. Don't share anything with you.
You're going to go to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to Mexico. Go away for a couple days. Oh man, I meant to look up the name of that resort. I forgot to do it. I can't make the jokes if I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're gonna go. You're gonna relax.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to do something with that beard. The beard is getting out of hand. Maybe it's just bed beard. Is that what it is? Is it bed beard? Because it's like it's easily 2 inches out from your side of your face on each side. It is a big poofy beard, not puffy, poofy. Look at that thing. Look at that.
What's wrong with it?
It's ginormous on the. It's not the length. The length is good. It looks like you got a perm. It looks like you have a beard perm.
But I did.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened.
Oh, okay. So just got to calm down.
I got to calm. Yeah.
Okay. It'll be fine by the end of next week.
Exactly. I want it straightened a bit. You know.
Yeah, but it's poofy on the sides.
You know, I got products in it.
I don't know. It's
got stuff.
This looks like bed beard, is what it looks like. Look at that thing. It's so big.
You know, I'm uncomfortable right now.
Oh, really?
I'm uncomfortable.
I'm trying to help. This way, when you go, all the locals are like, hey, look at this guy. Look at that crazy beard.
No, I think they'll like it.
Listen, I'm telling you again, you know it in the airport.
I'm gonna shave that up. I'm gonna shave it today.
If you don't, you just gotta knock down the sides a little bit because they will pull you. I don't care about your speedy pass or whatever that thing is you got.
I get pulled.
Oh yeah, it's better than it used to be.
It is better. It is better than it used to be.
I've seen you harassed.
Yeah.
Harassed. Not pulled. Not checked. Harassed.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Just makes me so angry. Oh my God.
It is what it is.
But it doesn't help though when you wear a belt that's made out of like empty shotgun shells. Like that is alarming when people see you coming. They're like, "What?" You got the bandoleros around,
What's
and you're
wrong
going
with
to
you?
Mexico, so you might want to be a little careful with the outfits you wear.
I'm gonna be fine. I'll be okay.
You should go dressed as Danny Trejo. And
No.
please do.
No, I can't pull that off.
Well,
Cannot pull that off.
nobody is quite as cool as
Exactly.
Danny Trejo
There's
is.
no way I would pull that off ever. I that's goals right there.
Be a great Halloween costume. You have to shave your beard though.
I can't. I couldn't do that. Though one day, I'm thinking I'm gonna shave it. I just don't know when.
Just do it when I'm not around.
Why?
Because I will be traumatized. Oh my gosh! Listen, guys like us, we shave the beard off, and what we're left with is round face.
Oh yeah, no,
That's not
and it's
good.
not like I'm a baby face, it's just ugly face.
Yeah,
And like I look older when I don't have a beard.
yeah. I'm looking at your face right now.
Oh, it's bad. It's
I'm trying
bad.
to figure out. See, because you lose so much character when you shave the beard off.
Well, no. I gain a character.
A brand new one, a cartoon character.
No,
is
no,
what
no,
you gain.
no, 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 because then you'll finally see my two chins. It's like a whole nother
Yeah.
side of me. You can see
Yeah,
right
that
here.
is the benefit of the beard.
It hides this little like.
Well, here's the thing.
It's not as bad as it used to be, actually.
No, of course not. 'Cause you're working out. But I when I started growing my beard, I was in really good shape. I was the best shape of my life. I was running all the time. And then I grew my beard, and then I put all my weight back on.
But no one could tell.
Well, no, they could tell. But
I'm trying to be nice to
yeah,
you.
but it would just be like, it would be a shocking, alarming. I mean, it would just be Charlie Brown with a double chin. That's all I would look like. Can't.
You know what?
You have at least the hair on top
For the
to balance it
20-year
out.
anniversary of Redeemer,
Yeah.
let's shave.
No.
Let's do a building campaign.
Nope. it could be a cigar campaign. If you're paying me, there's more likely. But it's you
Wouldn't do it for the church?
no, I would not shave my beard for the church. Absolutely not.
What?
No,
Really?
no. That's a silly thing.
How is that silly? No, it's silly that you wouldn't. You really wouldn't shave for a building campaign, something that's significant in the life of the church?
Would you shave your head?
Yes.
You liar.
No, I would.
Okay.
For a building campaign,
You'd-
something that would like really significantly.
It's not going to move the needle.
But if it did,
But it's not.
but
It wouldn't.
no. But see, let's just go past that.
Okay.
We're not even.
So if a millionaire shows up and he's
okay.
like,
There you go. Let's go with that. All right.
I'm going to give you $1 million towards a building campaign. No.
If you shaved your head and beard, yes. You want my eyebrows too?
If they said, we will build you the proper facility that you need, then yes, I would do it.
See, okay.
But just for a building campaign from our own people, no, because that's not going to do anything. It's just silly.
Wow.
And it's exploitive, which I don't like. I object to that.
oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They're exploiting somebody. It's like, well, I'm going to do that. No, listen, if some...
It would be fun.
No, it would not be fun.
It would be
not
fun. It would be
traumatic.
something.
It would be
It
traumatic.
would be. I'm in awe of you right now. Even 500,000, I would do it. Honestly, 100,000. If someone came and said,
No.
do 100,000, absolutely, without a doubt, I would.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for $100,000 given to me personally.
What?
No. That'd be a big old no.
I'm actually really shocked by that.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not more shocked that I'm lying.
See,
$100,000 is a lot of money.
that's what I mean. And, yeah.
Yeah, but $100,000 doesn't get us that much closer to what we need to do for a building.
It gets us somewhere. It gets us there.
Yeah, so
it
it's
gets us closer.
$10,000. $10,000 gets
Yeah,
us
but there's a difference between 10 and 100.
yeah, a factor of 10. Yes.
So there's a difference.
See, I was right.
Yep.
Factor of 10. Math. Hey, listen, you guys are you're all access people. And so you know what's going on, but we are doing a giveaway and we just want to let you guys know about this. You probably already know, but Particular Baptist Heritage Books, we're partnering with them to give away something else. It is the Baptist Catechism. This is the 1695 version. You guys know how it works. We're going to pick two.
Not the 1689
Not to
version.
say that, no, because that didn't exist. But the 1695 Baptist Catechism, beautifully bound, cloth overboard. PBHB is going to be giving it away. We're going to pick two winners on Friday, right? And then we're going to announce the winners on Monday, November 28th.
Boom.
Jimmy, how are they supposed to enter? They go to social media?
Oh, yeah. You want to go social media and you want to use, you can do Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you want to share how Doctrine and Devotion is an encouragement to you. but it's very important.
Yeah.
You got to use the hashtag
Yep.
1695 catechism.
That's right. That's how we find.
That's how we
your
find it.
Tweets, your
Now,
promos.
listen, I don't go on the social medias.
No,
I don't check these things.
no. He goes on TikTok.
I go on TikTok, but I don't check these things. And so I'm going to tell you now, I don't expect Joe to find your typos.
No.
If you can't spell it right, that's on you.
Yeah. If you spell it catechism, I ain't finding that.
He ain't finding it. He's not going to find it.
Don't do that. I'm not looking.
So make sure you spell it right. 1695 catechism.
Right on.
I got you, Joe. I'm making sure you don't
I
have to do
appreciate
that extra
Well,
work. I'm going to call people out for that.
I wouldn't do that for $100,000.
Such a liar. By the way, I was sitting there like, how would he not? I couldn't even understand it.
I know this is not what we're supposed to talk about, but have you been following the? I'm sure you have. The Twitter panic that Twitter's going to shut down. Elon's fired over half. Of their employees.
Yeah.
And so for one.
Well, hold on. Did he fire? Or did they quit? There's a difference.
No, he let a bunch of people go. Yeah, he let a bunch of people go. And that, yeah, some did quit. But so like one night, everybody is going on and on. Oh, this is gonna be the last night Twitter's gonna shut down. We're gonna shut down, and he's bankrupt. He doesn't know what he's doing, and you're a business guy, so. This was my internal response because I just don't have the patience to get online and talk about it. You don't drop billions of dollars without a plan.
Yep.
And he's not the guy that's winging it. Even though it may look like it to some of us, he knows what he's doing. I believe he knows what he's doing. And it is too significant of an asset culturally for it to just be tossed away. Of course, that's possible, but never for a minute did I or do I think Twitter is going to disappear. It's going to be around, and I think it'll wind up being robust and healthy next year for sure. But we'll see. Nevertheless, people were panicking, and I don't even go on Twitter that much. I kind of go on to see, and then I get off, and I was just like, yeah, everybody's panicking.
Listen, I mean, the reality is, he bought something that was losing money, and he's got to stabilize it, and that means you get rid of some overhead.
Yeah, get rid of some, and listen,
get rid of some buildings.
He tried some stuff. He went with the Twitter Blue and the
Twitter Blue
like that. Obviously, he's trying things, but that's fine. I don't.
When he put that out, I kept checking. I kept checking you.
Oh, I would never. Pay.
I was like, oh, let's see if Joe did it.
Never.
I want to see. I just kept checking. I'm like,
here's the thing. I
was getting ready to like screenshot.
Oh, no, I would never. I feel like if you're a published author,
oh, here we go.
Maybe you should get a blue check.
Here he is with his entitlement.
That's earned. That's earned. I've written books,
just like all these other people. How dare you? Was it Stephen King? Stephen King.
Oh no, I think it's fine.
How dare you?
Oh, I think it's fine to say
charge.
Well, no, that's the thing. He can do whatever he wants, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm just thinking like. I would never be comfortable paying for a blue check because blue check is associated with something else. Like, oh, this is an official account, and if the blue check now means like, oh no, this is actually this person. It's not a parody account or whatever. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just not going to pay for it. I just wouldn't pay for that. I would rather it just be like, no, this is the official. This is what it is. Don't care. But no, I'm not going to pay money for that. I don't like to pay money for social media stuff. That's not a...
Yeah.
No. I don't, especially since I don't really use it. I just... Yeah,
it'd be kind of foolish. Yeah. But I was waiting. I was like, come on, Joey. I know you're going to do it.
Never.
Come on, Joey.
Nope.
Joey's going to do it.
You know what? But if Elon were to give me the official, not just the blue check, but the official, I'd probably shave my beard.
That's what you'd shave it for?
Of course not.
Oh my gosh! Like,
no,
so insulting to the people of Redeemer. Like,
listen, I give my life to this church. I don't think they care whether or not I shave my beard.
For a building campaign,
for a guaranteed million, yeah.
See,
but just to do it as like, hey everybody, it's like
no.
Put the pastor in the dunk tank, get to throw the softballs at him, which I've done.
But you did, yeah. So what to say?
I'm just saying, like. like that doesn't actually do anything. It's just a fun thing.
That's what
I'm not going to shave my beard for fun.
And that's why I said, let's get past all that.
For a fake scenario that couldn't happen. Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Or it could happen.
See?
All right.
You just don't believe God is big.
Oh, no, I do. I also think that he ain't got time for nonsense like that.
Nonsense? Like a, what do you mean?
Pushing me around and making me do things I don't like. I don't think he's in favor of that. I think God's like, leave JoJo alone. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Twitter.
Oh, here we go.
There was a thing on Twitter. Now I got to bring it up again. I already lost it.
You lost it?
So I was on Twitter, and as of recording this, it was maybe 2 days ago, a day ago. But there was a series of tweets or a Twitter thread from a pastor named Eric Reed. Eric, if you happen to hear this somehow, we're not coming after you. We don't have a beef with Eric. We don't really know who he is. Southern Seminary grad, so cool, like whatever.
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah. And so maybe, and if I do know you, Eric, and I'm just drawing a blank, sorry. But he had a Twitter thread. We're going to read through this Twitter thread, and we're just going to talk about it, because the essence of it is he's saying, hey, listen, it's a really good idea for preaching pastors to not develop their sermons alone, but instead to involve a team of people to help you construct your sermon. That's the brief summary. And then he gives some points, some reasons, and some practical sort of how-tos. And we have some things we want to talk about. So we're just going to read through it. All right, so it starts, and we'll link to this in the show notes if you want to find it. It's Eric with a K, Reed, 2 E's. He says, every pastor should write their own sermons. Yes. So this is something he has to say because of all the plagiarism nonsense that's going on, right?
Yep.
So every pastor should write their own sermons. But that doesn't mean pastors should prep their sermons alone.
Okay.
Of course. We use commentaries.
Yep.
We talk to wise men around us. We'll bring in scholars.
Yep.
We'll like whatever. Like, no problem there. So he says, building a sermon prep team and rhythm will benefit your preaching exponentially. Excelsior. Okay, let's just say that kind of a statement is a little problematic, only because he doesn't have stats or facts to back that up. It'd be better to say, building a sermon prep team and rhythm could potentially,
may benefit your preaching exponentially.
But like this, I mean, I know you're just tweeting. Like, I'm not trying to nitpick too much, but it's like, all right, that's a hard sell right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a Twitter thread. So what does he say here, Jimmy?
Okay, here's how to do it and why it will help you. So he says, set a day and time for a 1-hour meeting. Our sermon prep team meets every Monday from 8:30 to 9:30. It's the first meeting of the week. Okay. So exponentially, 1 hour a week.
Okay, it's gonna.
That's some great returns.
Yeah, 1 hour on a Monday. And he says, why do it on Monday? He says, what makes sermon writing easier? I get a head start on sermon writing because of this meeting. Hang on, let's just stop. I too start on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't take Monday off. So I think it's a good idea. You want to get started early. I think that's
I like that.
That's great.
Yep.
He says a very clear direction for the sermon usually materializes from this meeting, which then helps save time when I sit down to write it.
So very clear, after 1 hour, right? A very clear direction for the sermon usually? Okay.
Well, okay. I just have problems from the start here. So you're going to have a 1 hour meeting with elders, deacons, ministry leaders, whoever. And he talks about that. Oh, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you meeting with people to help, work on a sermon on a team. I don't think there's a problem with that if you do it in the right way. The problem here is how can you have a clear direction for the sermon? Now you're talking the homiletical direction and everything before you've done the harder work of exegesis, or maybe it's not harder, but the hard work of exegesis. As Christians, we love the Bible. Nothing beats digging into the scripture for yourself, but studying the Bible can be difficult, and sometimes our study habits grow stale or maybe even non-existent. So, what do we do? Introducing Logos 10, the new release from the leaders in digital Bible study. Logos takes you beyond Bible reading and into Bible studying. And I'm speaking from experience here because Jimmy and I use Logos every single day, and we have for years. You want to do a word study, prepare a sermon, understand a difficult passage, start and actually finish a Bible reading plan. You can do all of that and more by using the study tools in the theological library in Logos 10. With Logos 10, you will uncover biblical insights whether you have 5 minutes or 5 hours. And the new Logos is lightning fast on desktop, web, or the mobile app. It has a sleek, modern look that helps you to focus on what really matters, the Scripture itself. And of course, it's endorsed by leaders like John Piper, Randy Alcorn, Elise Fitzpatrick, or more importantly, the Joe Foe. Stay in the Word and keep the Word in you with Logos 10. Visit logos.com/Jofo to find out the best Logos package for you. That's logos.com/JOFO. I mean, I don't know, how many hours do we spend on a sermon, right? Some guys spend 15, some guys spend 20. I spend around 10 to 12. Let's just say 10. 10 hours a week is given to a particular sermon. A significant amount of that time is what it takes to study the passage, do the exegesis. I'd
say about 80% of the time.
So for me, it's like, and again, that bleeds into a lot of areas, but I'm just not sure how you can gather a bunch of people together, both laymen and perhaps leaders, and have a clear direction for the sermon after a 1 hour meeting.
Because to me, without the exegesis, because then now it really feels like eisegesis. Now you've already decided the direction of the sermon without actually studying the passage.
Yeah. And now maybe he would say, well, no, we are studying the passage. I mean, here's what he says. Invite pastors, elders, deacons, and other key leaders. I make it open to any staff member leader who wants to come. Not mandatory. We also have non-staff and elders come. Why? Because it strengthens your insight and grasp of the text. Having additional leaders in the room working through the text brings so many insights and ideas to the table. Okay, but you have an hour.
Maybe he's thinking if there's 5 people, each an hour, that's 5 hours of prep right there.
I don't think he means that. He goes, we have to read a couple of these things because they all stack up. I think this is a good point that he makes. It says it disciples and develops other leaders in your church.
Yep, agreed.
This becomes a learning environment for our leaders. They grow in their knowledge of Scripture, but also understanding how to think about teaching it to the church. This makes them better in their roles. First of all, we can take that out and go, this is gold. This is true.
Wonderful.
I think where you're putting these people is in absolutely the wrong place. Like, not that they're helping you with a sermon, but on a Monday at 8:30 before you've done any study. I think you allowing them into this process would be very beneficial for them. It certainly could be.
Yep.
But where you're having this meeting and how it's laid out, I think is problematic for us. But then he says something else, Jimmy. What is it?
Let's see. It makes them better in their roles. And he goes, study, discuss, and apply the text. Nobody has to do any preparation in advance of the meeting. We read the passage. We discuss each verse, making notes about context, meaning, and cross-references as we go. We highlight major theological themes found in the text. We discuss apologetics and cultural issues the text raises. What questions would the unbeliever raise? How does passage speak to issues we face in our culture? We discuss how the passage applies to the lives of people in our church. How does this speak to the young single, the widow, teenagers, the grieving, the anxious, married couples, etc.? Asking these questions make you see the text through the lives of church members.
In an hour.
In 1 hour.
Listen, everything he says here is great.
Yeah.
You want to do these things. It's fantastic.
But how you're getting that done in 1 hour?
Listen, before you can discuss the cultural issues, highlight the themes, you have to have a grasp on the text itself, and that takes time. So even if you say, okay, but I mean, I just think I think it's moving the whole process too quickly on the front end, which could lead to what you were saying, Jimmy, an eisegetical approach to writing sermons. Because, I would say so I'm trying to think about it. All right, so let me what do you say here? I'm going to read the passage. We're going to discuss the each verse, making notes. I mean, so I guess, again, I'm not picking on him. It's just the way that this is presented. It sounds like we have a meeting for an hour, and by the end of this, I've saved a bunch of time in my sermon prep, I would say you don't need to save that time in sermon prep. I mean, listen, if you're spending 20 hours a week, then I think you're probably doing it wrong. Unless you just don't have any other responsibilities as a pastor. You have 20 hours of that and 20 hours of other things. If that's how you arrange your time, fine. So yeah, we can manage our time better, but like, I don't know that this is actually going to be a helpful way of saving time, doing it on the front end of the week. But all the questions he's asking are good, and I think bringing people in as a way of training people and helping us to think through things that we might miss, and all that's good. Honestly, I think maybe the big problem here is like he's saying this can be done in an hour on a Monday. I think that's the issue. Why don't we talk about how we typically do sermon preparation? Yeah, and where something like this would fit in.
Sure. Because I mean, I think
our processes are very similar. Most of the people, if not all the people that have preached at Redeemer, generally do these things. Obviously, we've developed a whole like Bible study method called the Ransom Bible Study Method. You can check that out on our website. We're not going to go through all of that, but these are the things that have to happen for us to have a well-crafted sermon, or at least a sermon crafted to the best of our abilities. Anytime we're going to preach. And so like, listen, if in God's providence, I only have 1 hour to do this, then okay, I only have 1 hour. But generally speaking, I have about 10 hours to 12 that I can give to this. So what's the first thing we're going to do?
First thing we're going to do is read the passage multiple times.
Oh, not just one time.
Multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I like to look at a couple different versions. And kind of read it just over and over again. Yeah.
I mean, listen, once you get into, the exegetical work, right? And all of that, that's where the language is coming to play. If you have a background there, if not, you got other resources that you can use. But even before that, yes, using a couple of translations that you trust. Good habit to be in.
I'll do that. And then at the same time, I'm not sure when you do this, but I like to do it on the front end. I like to do it on my iPad, or I'll write out the entire passage in my journal, and I'll just start to like it. I don't know if there's method to my madness, but I'll start to underline, circle, box, certain things that stick out. Right. That's certain transitions, certain things that help me see, and then point things back to each other. I try to find, as I'm going through it, what seems to be the hinge. What is that kind of, I don't know, something that ties everything kind of together, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, listen, I mark it up. You're taking note of things. And speaking of that, we read the passage multiple times to be as familiar with it as we can be, and we're journaling. So like we're writing out thoughts and questions, convictions that are starting to arise. We're writing things down, whether you're writing down the whole passage to start with, or just jumping to like, these are the things that are occurring to me as I'm doing it, are helpful to keep track of maybe what the Spirit is doing in you. But oftentimes just questions. Like the most helpful thing for me to do are just to identify questions and questions that I have. And also sometimes I'm anticipating, other people might have a question about this. This is a little vague, the way it's said in Scripture, or this is a confusing way of wording it. So what, or
is this pointing back to something else? Like, is there some other context that, we need to go through that is going to help fulfill, like give a fuller picture of the passage that we're on?
Right. And so when you're doing that, you're reading the passage, you're journaling, that helps you to then identify themes and doctrines, right? At that point, you're able to say, okay, so here we have the doctrine of Imago Dei. Now, this is clear in this passage. Or, wow, this is really highlighting the eternal state. So maybe it'll be a really clear passage. Or maybe sometimes it's more implicit, like, the doctrine of sin and the sinfulness of sin in particular, or the spread of sin, right? That's something that's being identified in the passage. But identifying themes and doctrines is another thing that we do in this process as we're just reading and journaling the passage.
Then from there, I like to outline the passage, right? Like kind of break it up and structure, kind of put it in almost my own words in a way, right? Like for this is this, like you're just kind of pointing it. I guess I don't know how, like, so that if I have the outline, I know what the passage is about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's where like all that work where you're underlining, drawing arrows, you're kind of figuring out like the flow, you're diagramming sentences.
Yep.
You're doing all that. So then when you outline the passage, you have a proper way of seeing that this is how the passage functions. This is how it flows, right? So for us visually to see that is really important. And now having done all of this, right? And some of these things are happening at the same time. But another thing that we do is we do check on commentaries.
Yep.
And there are certain commentaries that we will favor for certain books that will help us to check our work, people that we trust, teachers, gifted scholars that have done a lot more study in a particular book than you or I have, or you and I combined have. So we want to resource that stuff, and that will either clarify some things that maybe we need help with, or it will correct where maybe we're, oh, you know what? I was taking, and this guy has helped me to see. I was reading into this a little bit too much, or I was taking it in a way that I don't think does work. And oftentimes, it really helps to show us how it connects. Like a good commentary, a lot of people think of a good commentary as merely a critical thing. It's apparatus that helps us to understand the text and its original context and all of that. But, I like good commentaries that will also help me to see how this relates to the broader history of redemption and the redemptive work of God in Christ. How does this lead us to Jesus? So commentary help. Now, this is where it comes back to Eric's line of thinking. So we've still got more to do, but at this point, we've read the passage multiple times. We've been meditating on it. Obviously, prayer is throughout all of this, right? So I didn't want to give that a particular point because we're constantly praying. Identifying the themes and the doctrines, outlining the passage, getting some commentary help. Now we have at least a healthy grasp on the passage foundationally. Now would be a good time to bring in that team.
Perfect time.
Because now... you're bringing in a team, but you are still a leader. You're still a teacher. You're still a preaching pastor.
And you're still doing what you wanted to do at the beginning here, that you're talking about how it disciples and develops other leaders in your church, right? There now you are better equipped and prepared to help them and show them how one studies and goes through a passage.
You can
instead of going in cold.
Going in cold is, I think, not a great idea for a team like this. So then you spend, 10 minutes saying like, all right, here's the passage. Here's the work that I've done to get us to this point. Now we can start thinking through like, okay, what is the central message of this passage that is beginning to emerge that I am going to be heralding, right? What does that look like as it's rising up? They're going to bring their insights. They're going to bring all their issues. But like, if you bring the team in at that point, then I would say like, okay, so having said all of that, we've seen this. What is the central theme? What is the point that you think the passage is being made here? Or if we need to word it in a different way, what is a good message that this passage is moving us to address, or to say to our people in a more particular sense?
And there, having people there with you, I think it helps you to actually then discuss and ask, what are the congregation's needs? What are their struggles, right? Going through, like, what does this mean for the young single, the widow, teenagers, the grieving, the anxious, the married couples, etc., right?
Yeah, and all that stuff that he was saying, like, is really helpful. Now, like, when I'm preparing, or when Jimmy's preparing, we're asking those questions. We're writing that stuff out. We're identifying issues that are going on. But yeah, it's a great idea to have people. I've told the story a bunch, but years ago, Brian came to me after a sermon and said, "Hey, we had a meeting and everything," but he was saying, "You're not addressing this particular group with this particular need, and your preaching needs to address that." I was like, that's really, really helpful. So I think he's right. Like this could be great, but it has to happen in the right place, man. This should be happening like on a Wednesday. This should be happening maybe on a Thursday, depending on what your schedule's like. But this should happen on a day other than Monday at 8:30. Going in cold is not going to be helpful. I think this will allow you to lead them, right, to understand the passage, having done the work that cannot be done together in an hour.
Yeah, I agree.
But now you get the central message of that is beginning to emerge, congregations' needs and struggles. You can talk about application and implications. We talk about that a lot. Like, okay, so here's what the passage says. Here is the theme that's really coming out of this that we want to herald. So what does this mean for us?
Yeah.
How does it call us to repentance? And what would it look like? How does it call us to obedience? What would that look like? What does it look like to have faith in response to this? Are we believing a particular promise, or is it focusing on a particular aspect of God's character? Like, all of those things are going to help us to get greater clarity on how to apply this to a particular congregation. So you got to start with the needs and the struggles in order to get to the application and the implications of the passage.
And then from there, once all that work's done, then you're able to put together your like homiletical structure, which is different than your outline. Your outline is an exegetical outline.
Yeah, it's the outline of the passage.
Yeah, some people preach from that.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's better, because I think the homiletical one is going to take everything that you've learned and studied, and actually then is applying it in such a way that hits the context and your people well.
Yeah, so like a homiletical outline would take like a passage, and maybe the passage is saying is descriptive, for example. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, Peter preached the gospel. Peter suffered for the gospel. Peter was vindicated by the gospel, right? Okay, so there's a passage out of Acts maybe, and that's sort of what happened. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the narrative, these are the things that happened. So oftentimes in preaching, the homiletical structure is going to hold that forth either as things to do or things to believe, or more clearly understanding like works of God. So I mean, it could change things from just the exegetical sort of outline of what the text is saying to what people are supposed to be believing.
Oh yeah, I mean, like when you talk about like, okay, Peter suffered for the gospel, how was he able to suffer well? Mm-hmm. Right? What was his confidence in? What was his assurance in? What are some of those distractions that have us at times disbelieving and not wanting to suffer, but what was the conviction that he held and belief that he held to endure that suffering? Yeah,
and this is why like doing this with a team could be helpful, right? So how do we talk about like, okay, so Peter preached the gospel. Okay, well, are we all called to preach the gospel? Well, yeah. Okay, now we're not all called to preach it formally. Mm-hmm. But we are all called to preach it or herald it informally. Mm-hmm. So maybe, as you're working on your homiletical thing, it'll be like, we're all called to preach the gospel. It's a subtle difference than Peter preached the gospel. Now it's like we're all called to preach it. And then when you get to, well, Peter suffered. Well, we're all called to suffer for the gospel.
That's right. Jesus told us, you will suffer for my sake.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. Yeah. It shouldn't catch us off guard. We shouldn't lament about it, but we are called to endure.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like I don't have a problem with Eric. I don't think I think everything I've seen is fine. It's good. It's just this idea that you would say like, oh, well, let's put this at 8:30 and this is going to make the difference. I think if you're going to do something like this, and I certainly don't think you have to, but it certainly is helpful to get more voices helping you work through a passage for the presentation of a sermon, whether they're in book form or in person. So I think all this is fine, but you got to put it in the right place. Here's the takeaway, I think. I think if we're going to summarize like why we wanted to talk about this is we agree, don't prepare your sermon alone. Mm-hmm. You got to learn from others, right? Whether clearly, otherwise you're just left with sort of a biblicist mindset of, oh, it's just what the scripture says. I'm not going to have any outside influence. It's just me and my Bible, and now I'm my own pope. So don't do it alone. Learn from others. But if you're the preacher, you got to take responsibility, and you got to lead how you've been called to lead. You're going to learn in that environment with a team, but you're still called to lead there. So to do that, I think you're going to have to put this sort of a meeting in a different place.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrineanddevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast at the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pot every Monday and Thursday. We have blog posts and video content over at the website. And we want to thank you, our All Access subscriber.
You guys are the best.
Thank you so much for supporting the podcast the way that you do. Sharing is caring. Go ahead and let others know why you are a All Access subscriber and that they themselves can head on over to doctrineanddevotion.com/all access and support the podcast. Later.